Good morning again, everybody. Hello. Sorry, I'm just having a swig of coffee because once I start talking, I'm going to get very, very dry very, very quickly. Good morning, everybody. Right, the purpose of this is to talk about reopening of the school because it feels like it was an eternity ago, but I don't think it actually was. That our lovely Prime Minister said that we want to get schools back. Now, there is not a teacher on the planet that does not want children back at schools. We are missing you terribly, but we have got to do it safely, which means we've got to change a little bit how the school works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through the letter that I sent to your parents, and I'm hoping some parents are watching too, that explains the things I'm going to do. But please, if you have any questions, put them in the chat and I will answer them for you to the best that I can, because I'm not a scientist. So some of these things are difficult for me to answer, but I'm going to try really hard to avoid the politics and avoid trying to get involved in any of that and just talk about what we're planning to do. So good morning to everyone who's saying hello. That's really, really kind of you. I have got the lovely Mrs. Culver is online. She is capturing any of the questions that you ask so that we can share them later with parents, and we can say they can go back and watch this assembly because obviously it's recorded, so you can go back and watch it. Okay, so to start with, the government announced that they would like Rainbow Class, Year 1 and Year 6 to come back, as well as we have to still look after the children who are key worker children. Now, key worker children, there was a big list the government released earlier, and that big list has not changed. So I have contacted most of our key worker parents, and lots of them are like me, they're teachers. And we have a lot of teachers who are parents at our school, quite a lot. So I have got a very large number of key worker children coming back, and I have to give them a space. They are the first priority in the government's list. The second priority is then Rainbow Class. The next one is Year 1, and the final priority is Year 6. Now, based on the numbers I have got from key workers from Year 1 and Year R, at the moment, I cannot open to Year 6. The reason for that, I'm going to jump a little bit further into my letter, is the government have also given us guidance that you cannot have more than 15 children in a class. Now, everyone can probably do the maths very quickly. On a normal school day, our school is full. There are 30 of you in a class. So what that means is it means that in order for Rainbow Class to come back as the full 30, I need 2 classrooms. For Year 1 to come back as a full 30, I need 2 classrooms. I have over a class group of key worker children, okay? So they need about 3 classrooms. So if we count this up, we need 2 classrooms for Rainbow, 2 classrooms for Year 1, 3 classrooms for my key workers. I've got 7 classrooms being used. I only have 7 classrooms in the school. So that's why at the moment, Year 6 cannot come back. Now, I am hopeful, and Mrs. Culver is hopeful too, that there is something might happen, like, you know, the science behind this decision will change things. I don't know. We're going to try and get Year 6 back if we can, but there is lots of safety things we've got to do to make this safe. And that is going to be really hard. So it's not going to be easy to get Year 6 back. And I can't promise you I will be able to do it. And I know that is really upsetting for Year 6. It's really upsetting for Mrs. Culver, Mrs. Fisher and Mrs. Prescott, because they desperately would love to see you again. But we've got to make it safe. So I can't have more than 15 children in a class. And that's why at the moment Year 6 can't come back. So at the moment, I cannot invite back Years 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we will continue the teaching on the Google Classroom. It will continue. We want everybody to get the best education that they can get. However, it is going to change slightly. In order to have all these classes, all these groups of 15, and some of the groups will be smaller than 15 because some of my classrooms are smaller than other classrooms. in order to have these, I need all my teachers. So all my teachers are going to be teaching. So some of my teachers won't be teaching the year group they normally teach. They'll be teaching possibly Rainbow class. They could be teaching some of year one. So when Rainbow and year one come back, they may not be in a class with their class teacher. They may not be in their classroom because we've got too many children and we've got to spread them out across the school. So because of that, the teaching that is on the Google Classroom will change. So for example, I'm going to pick on poor Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown at the moment is, when he's not in school looking after children, he is on his Google Classroom to help anyone who's got any problems. He will now have a group of children in school he's got to teach. So he won't be able to be on the Google Classroom as much. He won't be able to respond to your comments as much, but he will still set your work. So if you are in year 3, Mr. Brown will still be setting you work. The plan, it very clearly says on the letter, is on the first day back. Now, we will only open on the 1st of June if the 5 key tests that the Prime Minister announced have been met. Now, the government will tell us if those 5 key tests have been met. Rumour is, and it's rumour, is on the 28th of May, the Friday in half term, they will tell us. Okay, so if they tell us on the 28th of May that we are opening, then we will open if it's safe to do so. So if when we open on that first day, now it might, whenever that first day might be, whenever we are told it is safe, the first day in school and on the Google Classroom will be about well-being, and it will be about things like washing your hands, because all of that is so, so important. The second day, we will go back to, there will be something that will be English on the classroom and something that will be maths on the classroom. There will be no work put on the classroom for the afternoons, because that's when the teachers are hopefully going to be with their little groups outside doing PE or anything. We're going to try and be outside as much as possible for those children that return and those key worker children, okay? Now, so the Google Classroom is going to change. We are still going to do live assemblies. I can't call all the children into the hall and do an assembly. We've got to encourage distance. Now, the government have been very clear that social distancing, as what we call it, which is you stay 2 meters away, cannot work with children. It can't. To try and explain to a child that is really hard. And also for our youngest children, that's not good for their well-being, us saying you can't come close, etc. So we are going to encourage distancing, which means I can't then put all the children in the hall and do an assembly because I wouldn't be distancing them. So we will continue our assemblies like this. I will do it on YouTube and we will play that in the classrooms for the children that are here, and all of you at home can still be part of our assemblies. We are going to try and keep daily Zumba on Twitter so that you can still join us for Zumba in the mornings as well, but the time is going to slightly change. Now, when I talked about those groupings, I called them groups of 15. The media, for parents who are reading things in the media, it's got a term called bubble. And they're calling them bubbles because the idea is the bubble is protected. So as well as the children cannot be in a group any bigger than 15 children, that bubble has to remain that group of children. So no other children can come in and out of that group. It's got to try and stay as close to that bubble as it can. The teachers need to stay in that bubble as they can. So obviously for Rainbow children, a group of 15 with one teacher would be really, really challenging because that teacher wouldn't be able to leave that room at any point during the day. So we're making sure that in Rainbow class and in year 1, for those groups of 15, there will be 2 adults. So there'll be 2 adults there so that there is always enough support for those children. Right, so for Rainbow and year 1 parents, it is your choice. It's not my choice, it's your choice. And this is a really hard choice to make. And a couple of parents have emailed me in and said, please give me advice. I can't tell you what to do. I don't know the science. As I do not know the science behind, I'm not a scientist. I know I've heard what the government has said, the same as you've heard it. So if you decide not to send your child in, that is fine. You will not get a penalty notice, nothing will happen. The work's still going to be on the Google Classrooms for those children, okay, or on Tapestry. So it's not going to suddenly be that you've got no home learning that you can do with your children. You will do. So that is your choice. These bubbles or groups that we're trying to create, it's really, really challenging, because we want to take into consideration friendship groups, which if children are deciding to come back at a later date than the 1st of June, it's really hard to build groups that are based on friendship when we don't know when children are going to come back. It's really tricky. Also, it's once you've created a bubble, if that bubble gets full, if that group gets full, we can't then we wouldn't start another group with one child in it. It wouldn't be fair. So this is, for me, this isn't your problem, this is my problem. It is a logistical nightmare. So it's really, really hard if you make the decision as a parent not to send them in on the 1st of June, if that's the date the school's open. I have to keep saying that because I don't know if it's going to happen. But if on that first day you make the decision not to send them in, I will do everything in my power to get your child into school, but I can't tell you when I can do it, because it might be reliant on me starting up a new group, and I would never start a new group with one child in it. I'd want them to have children to talk to and play with. So it's going to be really tricky. That doesn't mean that you have to now make the decision to send your child on the 1st of June. Please don't feel that I'm pressuring you, because I'm not. It's a really horrible decision to make. I just want you to know that if you decide you want to send them in later, you need to give me time to be able to work those groupings, okay? Coming into school. Now, there has been lots of teachers and colleagues of mine who've put information up on social media of classrooms looking horrible, bare. That's not what the guidance says. The guidance does say we need to try and encourage the children to distance themselves. So yes, the classrooms will look different. We will be putting tables and chairs in and trying to distance children from each other, but the classrooms are not going to look horrible. They are not going to look horrible, but they are going to look different. Arriving and leaving the school is going to look different. So for coming into school as parents, you are going to walk through our car park. We need you to social distance. Please, adults, keep your distance from each other. Please, only one adult drop your children off. You're going to walk up through the car park and you're going to drop off on the field area. And the timings in which you are going to drop your children off are in the letter, okay? You're going to drop your children off on the field, and you are going to then leave via the little gate on the side, and you're going to come round. So it's like we're going to have a one-way system. And as you leave, you're going to come on site, and you're going to leave site as quick as you can. Okay, we really don't want people arriving before their arrival time. We don't want queues in the car park. That's what we're trying to avoid. So you're going to come on, go through a one-way system, drop off. What's going to be really tricky about this is, obviously, for Rainbow class in the morning, you can normally have a conversation and a chat with the adults. We need to limit communication face-to-face. So on that first day back, my office staff are back in. They will be answering phones. They will be answering emails. They will try and support you the best they can. But talking face-to-face to adults, we need to limit, please. And I know that's going to be really hard. Parents whose children aren't coming back, talking to teachers through the Google Classroom is not going to be possible because they will be teaching. So again, you're going to have to use my office facilities again. After arrival and drop-off, parents will be gone. We will then can take over the day. Now, coming into school, I'm hoping the weather is going to stay as beautiful as this, but the only things children can bring into school is their coat, a sun hat, and their lunchbox, and their water bottle. It's really important all children have a water bottle. We cannot give them a drink of water out of cups like we used to do, because we have to clean everything within an inch of its life, okay? So please make sure they've got that. Sun cream must go on before the child comes in, and ideally it needs to be one of the 8-hour ones that lasts all day. We can't have children putting more sun cream on, because that will mean that we're already going to be doing ridiculous amount of hand washing. It will increase their hand washing, so we really can't do that at the moment. So yes, coat, sun hat, water bottle and lunchbox. If they are a school dinner, if you want them to have school dinners, I am so thankful the kitchen are coming back. So they are going to come back and do school dinners. They are going to provide hot meals Monday to Thursday, and then on a Friday, which I'll come on to in a minute, will be a packed lunch. So if you are in year R and year 1, you get universal free school meals. You will still get that. If you are a key worker and you normally pay for a school dinner, you can pay for a school dinner again. Okay. Next, so I've talked a lot about the bubble, and sorry, I keep saying bubble, about these groupings. I've talked a lot about it. So it's a group of children, they cannot come in contact with another group. How are we going to stop that? So to stop them coming in contact with other groups, they will be given their own area in the school. They'll be given their own toilets they can use. We will have a staggered break time. We will have a staggered lunch time. And in those staggered break and staggered lunch times, they will be given a zone on the field. And that zone they can play with. Obviously, if it's wet play, they will stay in their area in the school, in their classroom. But we are trying everything to make sure they don't come in contact with other children. Now, I say don't come in contact. We haven't got enough toilets that every group can have their own toilets, but we are limiting what groups use what toilets. Then coming in contact in that respect is okay, but we've got to do minimal contact. Minimal. So that's what we're aiming for. We have brought spots to go on the floor to tell them where to stand so that we can encourage distancing. We are doing lots of things. Now, this letter is a lot that we're doing. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to terrify children. It's just we want the children to know it's going to be different. But what's not going to change in any of this is all the staff. The staff still love you so, so much. We are still our Lenham family. Things are not going to change, okay? We are still going to be here. We're still going to be the amazing primary school that we already are. Just we're going to be a little bit different. I've gone through all the toilets and everything. Right, so in light of that we're going to be outside as much as possible, that's why your sun hat's really important. Also, school uniform. We don't want to be getting in and out of PE kits. So when you come to school, if you are in R1 or a key worker, on that first day back, whenever we open, we are saying school jumper, school t-shirt, ta-da, and something on your bottom half that you can do PE in. So school skirts, not really good, okay, for girls. Even school trousers sometimes are not very good for moving in. So you can wear your tracky bottoms or school shorts. Must be trainers or plimsolls. No lovely sandals, please, because we need them. We need you to be able to do PE. So something appropriate on your bottom half. When I say jumper, if it's like today, you won't be wearing a jumper because it's too hot, but you'll be wearing your school t-shirt, okay? Cleaning and hand washing. The biggest government guidance we have on how to protect ourselves from this virus is cleaning and hand washing. So already our key workers who've been in school wash their hands a lot in the day, or they hand sanitize. We have hand sanitizer in school as well that is good for the virus. We do lots of it. We will be doing lots of it when they come back, especially for rainbow children. Rainbow children, because we still want them to have toys. How are they going to learn if they've got no toys? But the toys that we're putting in need to be able to be cleaned, and they need to be able to wash their hands lots. So we are doing what we can do to make sure we wash our hands lots and lots. We are also putting in extra cleaning. So we have an amazing cleaning team that clean every evening, but we will be cleaning throughout the day. We have got some lovely teaching assistants who are going to take on the role of cleaners temporarily for me, and they will be going into classrooms at lunchtime and cleaning everything. Teachers will be cleaning if they feel it's necessary in the lessons as well, to wipe down surfaces, but we will be cleaning lots to try and make sure we can beat this virus from spreading. I've already talked about communication with teachers and the school. Face masks. Now, I don't want to get political. The guidance to teachers is we do not wear face masks. My personal opinion is that I think it would scare the children if they came in and found us wearing face masks. But I also understand why lots of people would like them to be worn. The staff here will not be wearing face masks. Also, children in school will not be wearing face masks either. The reason being that children won't be wearing face masks is because it makes them touch their face more. So if you are would like your child wearing a face mask, they won't be allowed to wear it in school if you're sending them back. And the staff, as I said, won't be wearing face masks. However, I did put in my letter yesterday that the school can't open unless we have protective equipment on site. So I'm saying no face masks, but I'm talking about protective equipment. We have to be prepared. The government has asked us to be prepared that if a child was to show symptoms, that we could deal with it in a protective manner. So I do need protective gear on site, like face masks, like face shields, like extra gloves, in case a child shows symptoms. Now, this morning I spoke to Mrs. Pike, who is working her socks off, and she's on the chat right now. She is chasing up every bit of equipment, and we feel confident that we will get the equipment in. Lots of it has already come in. Yesterday when I wrote that letter, I had about 3 things in. I now have about half of it in, but I still am waiting for some of it. I am going to say now, and I will send it out in a letter tomorrow to confirm it, but I'm hoping to send out a letter tomorrow saying that we are going to plan for opening on the 1st if the government says it's safe, because I think for now, by the 1st, we will have the stuff in. I think we will have the equipment in. However, if we get to the 28th of May and the government say, yes, schools are opening, and I do not have that equipment in, I will have to say we cannot open. But I am really, really hopeful we will have the equipment in time. So at the moment, I don't think that is going to stop us. But we do need to have some equipment in. Now, the biggest struggle I've had with all of this organisation is my teaching staff are going to be doing 2 things at the same time. They're going to be setting work on the Google Classroom, and they're going to be looking after children. That is really, really hard to do. Now, if normally they would be teaching their children in their classroom every single day, that's quite hard to do already. And what the government has always given teachers is an afternoon or 10% of the week out of class to prepare their lessons, do their assessment, and do their planning. Because these groups have to have the same adult with them, or they can have another adult with them as long as that adult doesn't look after any other group. Normally, my teacher's time out of class is covered by 1 member of staff. That cannot happen because she cannot go and teach in more than 1 group, as the groups will be contaminated. I do not have enough staff that can cover that time. Also, the school, even though we're going to be on top of our cleaning and cleaning more than we've ever cleaned, the opportunity to have a block of time where we can go cleaning mad is really, really useful. So for those 2 reasons, I am closing the school on a Friday afternoon at 12 o'clock. Now, that's why I've said Friday afternoons will be a packed lunch day, because then all children who are free school meals can still have a packed lunch, and mum and dad don't have to worry about making lunch. But the school will be closed from 12 o'clock. Now, if you are a key worker and this causes you a problem, please contact the office or myself. Key workers, you have my email. Please contact me and I will see what I can do to help. But as much as possible, if children can go home on that Friday afternoon, that would be amazing. So school is closing at 12 o'clock on a Friday. I will send you information about the staggered times for that pickup. Mrs. Culver has already, I know, got it sorted, but we will send it to you once we're back, so you know what time to come and pick your children up, okay? Right, where am I? I think I'm doing pretty well here. Finally, for Year R and Year 1 parents, I've done another survey. I've done a second survey. Please, could you fill it in? If you are still undecided and you really don't know if you want to send your child in, it actually helps me if you say yes to the survey. If you are undecided. If you are certain, it's a definite no. There is no way on the 1st of June your child is coming back, then please do say no. But if you think, do you know what, we've got half term, we've got a week, I now know what you're planning on doing, I want to listen to what the government says, I'm still really unsure, please say yes, because I would rather that I'm planning to open on the 1st of June with higher numbers than lower numbers. But if you are certain it's a no, please say no. It just helps me with my planning. Right. I am going to look at my questions and see if I've got any. If we don't feel comfortable sending the children back initially, can we reevaluate it on a week by week? So I said at the beginning, creating these groups is really challenging. So if you don't want to send your child back on the 1st of June, that's why I'm asking the survey, because that helps me start building a group. If you don't want to send them in, that is your choice, but then it won't be as easy as dropping me a message saying, can they come back tomorrow? It could take me a few days, it could take a few weeks, depending on what the size of the groups I have got in school. So yes, you can send them in later. I may not be able to take them back as quick as I would like to take them back. But until we're in, I don't really know. I also said on my letter that any parent who doesn't send their child in, I will be giving you a phone call. That's not for me to tell you to send your children in. It's not for me to put any pressure on you. It's just so we can have that conversation. Because if you are thinking, do you know what, I might send them in July, that really helps me with my planning. We have a child in as a key worker and another child in Year R. Will we have to drop them off on separate drop-offs? No. So on the letter, it does say, I'm trying to find my bit, it does say that you bring them in. So let me have a look. For parents who have more than one child, they will drop all children off at the later time offered. So the latest time offered is Year R. So you bring all your children in with your Year R child. So they all come in at the later time, and then we will send the key worker child off to where she has to go. I hope that answers your question. I've only got 2 questions on. Have I got any children that want to ask me a question? For the children, it will look different. We are going to try to take friendship groups into consideration, but it is tricky. And you'd collect at the later time too. Very good question. Can we drop them off earlier? Unfortunately, no. It has to be that time. The reason being that it's about if everybody drops them off at the earlier time, we won't stop with the staggered start won't happen. So it's got to be we're trying to create a staggered time as much as possible. When will we know about what teacher and what groups, please? The teachers and the groups, to be honest, I can't. I have a plan, but until I have the number of children in, I can't tell you. So even if you've responded to my survey, I can't email you back and say your child will be in the group with this teacher. The reason being, the guidance is very clear. I can get these surveys. They are to help me plan. But if on that 1st of June, any parent in Year R and Year 1 might have changed their mind and might now want to bring their child in, and that's okay. That's absolutely fine. So these surveys really are just to help me with the planning. But on that first day back, I will be prepared that some parents may change their mind. And if you change your mind in year R and year 1 and you over the half term, you can still bring them in. That is absolutely fine. So yes, I won't be able to tell you what teachers and what groups at all, because I could tell you and then on the first day it might tweak. Oh, Mrs. Pike's just telling me to remind you. Thank you, Mrs. Pike. I'm just going to check. It's terrible. I'm checking that Mrs. Culver hasn't sent me anything on a thing on my phone. I don't think she has. I think I'm all right. Mrs. Pike's reminding me to say we can't do breakfast club or after school club. And the reason why is because every group would have to have their own after school and but breakfast club and after school club. So if I've got 7 groups in the school, I need 7 after school clubs and 7 breakfast clubs. I haven't got the staff, so it can't be done. It's quite challenging to keep these groups separate. Will reception children still have their original teacher? Very good question. We are planning that. So if you are a rainbow child, you will have either your teacher or your TA in the group. So you will know somebody. The same for year 1. You will know someone. You'll either be in a group with your TA or you'll be in the group with your teacher. Key workers, I can't promise you that. You could be with any member of my staff that I have available. I'm reading. It's a very long question, but a lovely question. So, will the teachers who are normal teachers be setting the work in the Google Classroom? So if this person's named Miss Parry, so we'll stick with Miss Parry. Miss Parry will be teaching a group of 15 and she will still be setting the work on the year 4's Google Classroom. The current work, I agree, is an absolute credit to Miss Parry, but yes, you're right. The likelihood is it's going to change, and that is a real shame for the year 4 children who aren't in. I totally agree with you. The government's guidance to us is actually, if you can keep up the work, please do so. But if not, the Oakland Government Academy is there to support children who aren't in school. We're very fortunate that we're going to try and keep going with the Google Classroom. But I do appreciate that if your child isn't in school, it's going to be different. But the children who are in school will be doing the Google Classroom things as well. So if Miss Parry has got 15 key worker children in front of her, and let's say all 15 were year 4s, they're not, but let's say they were, she will be teaching them the exact same thing as the 15 children sitting at home are doing. So it's not like the children in school are going to get more at the moment. We are going to keep it that everyone's doing the Google Classroom, so it is fair to all children. Whether that will change as we go through this, I don't know, because obviously the government have said they would like schools to expand in July. I'm interested in how we do that, but I'm going to stop there because I'm going to get political. Mrs. Humberson, did I just see you? Oh, Miss Crayford, could I ask that you just pass that to the gentleman that's in Mrs. Pike's office for me?
Dr. Keep.
Thank you. Sorry, Miss Crayford's just running an errand. It's really hard. I've got lots of people asking me questions and trying to do lots of things, so I apologise for that. Is there a plan to extend the school hours in any way? It's really hard to work around. Yeah, I totally understand. If you're a key worker, at the moment there isn't, because as I said, the key worker group at the moment is going to span over 3 groups. So I would need 3 after school clubs and 3 breakfast clubs. And I don't have the number of staff to do that. Because if everybody in those key worker groups needed it, I would need 2 members of staff to manage that. It is very, very, very challenging. Thank you. It is incredibly challenging. So it's not going to be possible, unfortunately, to be able to do that. But as soon as we can, if there's any guidance changes and we can offer wraparound care, we would love to do it. The other thing that's standing in our way from doing the wraparound care as well is we'd have to make sure we could get food, because at the moment we can't get that food into school. It's really tricky. But we obviously want to get year 6 in if we can, and we would love to be able to support key workers better with wraparound care. But at the moment, I can't offer it, and I appreciate that is really, really challenging. So someone's just saying, so just to clarify, say yes on the survey if you are undecided. Yes, correct. Say if you think there is a chance that by the time the 1st of June comes, we're talking a week away, things are changing. If you think that in the next week there is a chance you could change your mind, please put yes on the survey. And if you think, no, I'm not going to change my mind for the 1st of June, then put no. And I will then be contacting you because your child won't be in, and we can talk about it on the phone properly. I'm trying to... Is it confirmed that children can go to school? Can parents still keep their children at home if they're not sure? Yes. So it's 100% been confirmed. Sorry, I'm trying to do my... I put it up on my big board so I don't have to squint, and then I'm squinting. Yes, it is 100% teacher's choice. Completely and utterly... sorry, not teacher's choice, parent choice. Sorry. Completely and utterly parent choice. So if you do not want to send your child in, you do not need to send your child in. And there is no penalty, there is no nothing. As I said, if you're in RM1, I will be making a telephone call to you because that's what I've been asked to do, but it is not to pressure you into sending your child back. This is your choice. It's very, very clear in all the government guidance. I'm not going to put... if you want to search the government guidance, you're more than welcome to. All you have to do is put in schools reopening to Google and you can find it all. There is about, probably now it's probably about 500 to 700 pages of guidance out there for schools. There's a lot. They have made it very clear this is parental choice. So if you don't want to send your child back, it's absolutely fine. Okay. And I'm a mummy too, and it's a really hard decision to make, And I'm not going to tell you what you should do. I'm not going to advise you what you should do because you are the parent and they're your children, and this is important. And the same as if you choose to send your child back, all the staff here will look after them the best we can. We are following that guidance so tightly. We will do everything we can, but it's all about reducing the risk. And that's all I can say to you is I'm doing everything to reduce the risk. But it's a really tough decision to make. And as a mummy too, I'm having to make that tough decision. So I know how hard it is. And it's really tricky as well because a lot could change. The government could say on the 28th of May that we're not coming back. And if we're not coming back, then we will contact parents to find out what key workers still need support, because we will still be like we've been open all through this. The media saying schools have been closed isn't correct. We've been open through all this with key worker children coming in. They've come in every day. We've been putting already a lot of these procedures in place, but doing it at obviously a smaller scale because we haven't had as many children in. But we've been open all the time. And so this is reopening isn't really the right term, but that's what the government have chosen to give us. So a parent has said, if their child comes in and is really, really upset, really upset, sorry, that's Siri listening, is really, really upset because their child gets worried or upset, will you call us to come and collect? We will, of course, do everything to make sure children are happy. Denmark, which is a very different country, have been held up as doing this successfully. And what I liked about what the head teacher over there said was they'd planned lots to try and reassure the children and make sure they're okay. We've done exactly the same. And what he said was the children just being around their friends is enough that actually it settles them. But of course, if we will do everything to reassure them and look after them like we would normally. If that is not working, of course we would call you as the parent, of course we would. But we would do everything in the power to reassure them first. And, one parent emailed me the other day and said, if a child is really, really distressed, are you really going to stay a 2 meter distance away from them? We will do everything to look after them. Okay. Government guidance is very, very clear that the children's well-being is at the top of our priorities, and it really, really is. Hence why when the government said no face masks, all the staff here thought, as much as that is, you could say, is a risk, they all agree that's best for our children. So we will do everything to look after your children. Before I became a mummy, if anyone ever asked me how many children I had, I always say the number that's in my school, and that's how I feel. So I have, 211 children. 210 don't come home with me of a night. Only one does. But I see them as my children, and every staff member sees them as our children. So we will look after them the best we can, like we normally would. So I can't see any more questions there. So I will stop it here. Unless any more flip up while I'm talking. So just to recap, I will confirm tomorrow if we've got enough of the equipment, or I'm hopeful we will have enough of the equipment to open on the 1st of June. Now, we will only open on the 1st of June if the government announce, and the rumour is it's the 28th of May, and that is only rumour, if the government announce if it is safe to do so. So if the government announce it is safe to do so, and by then I have all my PPE equipment, which I am now feeling much more confident I am going to have. Thank you to all the parents who have contacted me saying they can help me out. You're amazing. I may be in contact if I need to be. I'm confident on the equipment. Government saying it's safe to do so. If so, we will open on that 1st of June for Year R, Year 1 and Key Worker children. If you are in Year R, please complete that survey. It really helps me. The staff, we are having a very, very detailed inset day tomorrow all about this. We've already been talking about it lots, but we're going to be talking about it even more. And it really helps the teachers if we have a rough idea of the numbers coming in. I am saying rough because, of course, there is a chance that people will want to change their minds in Year Rainbow and Year 1, and that is allowed. But if, as I said at the beginning, if you think there is a chance you might change your mind, please say yes for the 1st of June. If you think, no, I'm not going to send them in on the 1st of June, please answer no. I really need that survey completed by Year 1 and Year Rainbow class, please. A couple of the children are saying, if we're scared or upset, will you support us? Of course we will. We're going to look after you, okay? Please, you don't need to be scared because we're going to do everything we can to reduce the risk. And normally, if you were upset and worried, we'd look after you. We're going to do the same. And thank you very much. That's a lovely thank you on the message about doing this. I think that's everything I have to say. Mrs. Culver, as I said, is on keeping an eye on the messages, and she'll be writing them down. And then I will send this assembly. It takes a while, but I've got the link. I will send the link with the questions. We can send that out to parents as well, so that they can watch the assembly and know what questions were asked and things. To all the parents, thank you for your support. You have sent so many lovely emails, messages on the Google Classroom. You have been so supportive. Even today, I've had so many messages coming in saying, we appreciate opening the schools, how much of a hard job it is. And I really appreciate that because, nobody thought a pandemic was coming. So we're all trying to find our way through this, and it is really, really hard. But we are trying to do our best, and it's so nice that you are so supportive. So it's a massive appreciation to you. Thank you so much. Mrs. Pike is saying, if you have any more questions, you can always email them into the office at lenham.kent.sch.uk, and we will try our best to answer them for you. But thank you so much for all your support. It is so appreciated. So I'm going to say goodbye for the second time today. I am aiming for our first day back, whenever that may be. On the first day back, we'll try and squeeze in a live assembly so that I can say hello to everybody. Please have a wonderful half term. I really hope the sun stays out for everybody so that we can all be in our back gardens having lots of picnics in the back garden and playing and everything like that. And in particular, I want to get my paddling pool out again, because I do like to have a paddling pool. So thank you very much. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely half term. Please, Rainbow Cloud parents in year 1, please fill that survey in. I'm going to close it at 1 o'clock, so please fill it in. Thank you. Bye.